So, eBay is throwing the sellers under the bus once more, and what's worse, they're giving fraudulent buyers a free pass to, well, be fraudulent. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. Welcome to the channel. Hoping to like this video and you want to see more like it, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification for more info. So, today's topic, eBay. And yes, I have not forgotten about the year-long eBay money-making experiment. An update on that will be coming soon. However, in the meantime, let's talk about this new policy that eBay has with their unpaid items. Now, for those of you who are not aware of what the unpaid item policy is, an unpaid item is basically a situation where somebody buys your item. Now, it could be through buy it now or through auction. It particularly happens through auction because if you select buy it now, you can actually force them to have to pay for it. So this isn't even an issue. And the thing is, this system has actually been like a very good system for sellers to keep buyers accountable. There's not a lot to keep buyers accountable anymore because buyers have seen a lot of their repercussions scaled back, most notably the feedback. It used to be buyers and sellers could leave feedback for each other, but then John Donovan, one of the former CEOs of eBay, decided for some reason buyers would be intimidated in leaving honest feedback if they were afraid of retaliatory feedback, so he basically said, nope, no longer can buyers receive negative feedback from sellers. The only people who can receive negative feedback is the sellers, which I want to add is a really stupid way of looking at it. But whatever, we adapted. Basically, now we just report the buyers and all that jazz. And here's the thing. Even though we can't leave a negative feedback about someone who does not buy something anymore, we still had the unpaid item policy, which was pretty simple to use and pretty easy to understand. Basically, the situation is if they do not want to pay for an item, the buyers, that is, the seller, after waiting a couple days, can file an unpaid item claim. At that point, the buyer has two options. They can either pay for the item and thus close the case, or they can choose not to pay for the item, at which case the seller can then request a final value credit fee and apply a strike to your account. And a strike is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It is a mark on your account that says you did not pay for an item. Now, the first one is basically meaningless, and in fact, you could get it removed very easily. But if you get a second strike within a certain period of time, guess what? You have some limitations on your buying account, and if you get 3 strikes, gone, you're out, no more using eBay. And while this is not exactly the perfect system, getting dummy accounts on eBay is not a particularly difficult thing to do. It did, at the very least, mitigate the problem, especially with some established eBay buyers who bought enough stuff on eBay where losing the account might be considered a bad thing and thus could not use the I'm not going to pay for an item unless you agree to my terms, unfairly. However, eBay has rolled out a new unpaid item policy, and as always, it's not really good for sellers. In fact, if anything, it gives buyers a basically free rein to make as many fraudulent purchases as they want. Before we talk about that, though, let's talk about Webull for just a second. Stock market is really hot right now. There's a bunch of investing opportunities. People are investing more and more. And if you sign up through Webull using my code on the screen or the link below, you can get up to 10 free stocks to invest in whatever you want. Heck, you can invest in eBay and PayPal if you want. Why not? They're doing pretty good. Not financial advice, by the way. Talk to a financial advisor before you make any major investments and never invest what you aren't prepared to lose. That said, 10 free stocks, not a bad deal, not a bad start. Remember, code here and link below if you want to get started. All right, let's see what this new policy is. So this is from e-commerce, and it says eBay rolls out new unpaid item policy May 2020. So eBay sellers can now cancel orders if the buyer hasn't paid within 4 days. In reminding sellers of the new policy, eBay updated one key detail. In our communication in the 2021 Spring Seller Update, we announced that you would be able to cancel an unpaid transaction after 5 calendar days. You will now be able to cancel the unpaid order starting on the 5th calendar day. Here's the pertinent information in Thursday's post of the eBay boards. Starting in May 2021, you'll no longer have to file unpaid item claims or send payment reminders. Instead, when buyers haven't paid, you'll be able to manually or automatically cancel orders through Seller Hub or My eBay Sold. Your buyers will have 4 calendar days to pay for an item after they've come in to buy. We'll proactively remind them to pay. If they haven't paid within that time frame, you can cancel the unpaid order starting on the 5th calendar day. After you cancel the order, you can choose to have eBay automatically relist the item. You may also see applicable fees credited back to your account in accordance with our fee credit policy. You don't have to take any action to start using the new cancel function for unpaid items. This change is already available to some sellers. If it's available to you, you'll see buyer hasn't paid as an option when canceling an order in Seller Hub or My eBay Sold. If you can't see this option, don't worry, it will be available to you in the coming weeks. Now, some of you might be looking at, okay, so what's the problem? I mean, back then, under the old policy, you had to open a case and you had to wait a couple days and you had to send reminders and then they still might not pay and then you would ultimately get the fee anyway. I mean, isn't this just removing some steps? You sell the item, 5 days go by, and then you can collect your fee. I mean, what's the problem with that? Well, I'm going to grant you the first thing is that, yes, this is just one less step. Now you just wait 5 days. If they have not paid within 5 calendar days, you can simply cancel the order, collect your fee, no hassle, no arm wrangling. That's not terrible. It would have been nice if you could have waited 1 day less, kind of give an additional bonus because it takes roughly the same amount of time under the new policy to get your final value credit fee as compared to the old one. But I will, concede it's, at least on its surface, a little bit easier to deal with. The problem comes is in this update, nothing is said about the unpaid item strikes. And I don't know about you, but I've gotten tons of emails, particularly with PlayStation 5s and Xboxes, from people who bid an exorbitant amount of money and then realize they might actually have to pay for this thing. And so they send me an email and they say, cancel the order, I don't have the money to pay, or something to that effect. I never do this. You bid on an item, you commit to pay a certain price, that is what you're going to pay. And if you're not going to pay it, if you think you can just walk out like you're walking away from a car, nope. From my perspective, the contract has been signed, you've committed to pay at that price, I am going to get my money. And if you're not going to do it, I'm going to open an unpaid item case and you will receive a strike. However, now, fraudulent or lazy or simply aloof bidders basically get a free pass to not pay. Because, yes, after 5 days, you can cancel the order, you will get your final value fee back. However, there's nothing here that says anything about a strike anymore, which leads me to believe the strike system has been removed. This is eBay effectively saying, you know what, you can buy as many items as you want, not pay for any of them, and yet you will not lose that account. Now, there's reasons that a lot of people don't pay. Sometimes they legitimately do have a family or financial burden that comes up at the last minute. Sometimes it's a kid who bids on something, doesn't realize this is real money, and the parents now have to kind of explain to the seller and beg and hope that they're understanding. Sometimes the people just want to bid a huge amount so that basically no one else can get it. And sometimes competing sellers use dummy accounts to buy merchandise from competitors, get the items off the site so that their item is the only one there, and hopefully the legitimate buyer will now look towards them, not at your items. Doesn't matter. There's tons of reasons why, and the thing is, the strike system, while not completely alleviating the problem, did keep some of this under control. But now it's a free-for-all. There's no strike system, there's no real consequence for buying merchandise and not paying, and even though the seller does get their money back, you know what? That's still 5 days that the item is not on the website. That's 5 days that they are not on the market where they could potentially be selling that to a legitimate seller. And the person who caused that problem and might even be doing it to other people, now has free reign to do this over and over and over again with no consequence whatsoever. Now, if eBay had mentioned that they were still going to apply strikes to accounts where this must be done, maybe I wouldn't be so upset about this, because otherwise, yeah, you're right. It streamlines the process. Heck, for people who have the automatic unpaid item system set up in their account to automatically open unpaid item cases after a certain amount of days, those people will be especially happy, because now there's not even a process. Just closes the order, receives a fee, relists the items, done. Easy peasy. Unfortunately, again, back then, these fraudulent accounts would be getting strikes and they would be taken down. Now, and here's the thing, that didn't even solve the problem the first time. Now, you're not even going to be taking down fraudulent accounts. So this problem is going to get much, much worse. And that is a scary thought. And it kind of just reminds you that this is where eBay's mythology, their thinking of basically siding with the buyers, is so foolhardy. Basically, buyers can do whatever they want. They can't get bad feedback. Apparently, they're not getting strikes now. They can now have a bunch of dummy accounts. They can buy a bunch of things they're not being paid for. And yet, the seller fees, the thing that actually pays for eBay's bills, are done by the sellers. And who gets hurt by policy changes like this? The sellers. And eBay is just always totally oblivious to the seller's needs. I mean, it's also kind of weird that in the same month they also took away the eBay Power Seller program, which I will probably also make a video about, because I've got thoughts on that as well. Although, who knows, maybe in the back, maybe eBay is giving out strikes, but again, there's nothing being said here, and I think that fraudulent buyers are just going to become a bigger problem on eBay. But that said, maybe you have a different opinion. I would like to know what that opinion is. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.